everyone, my name is Brandy McDonald. Many of you know me. I'm coming to you from my fancy new home studio. And I know that I've been talking about my Boston seminar that's coming up in March. And so I wanted to, over the next few weeks, unroll a few of the concepts that we're going to be teaching, because there's lots of questions around it. And I know that we're coming from a model that's a little bit different than a lot of people practice. And so I wanted to cover some of those things in a video to help you all understand what we're doing in Boston, why we're doing that workshop, and really the requests that came from chiropractors to start doing this the more that I started speaking and traveling. So the biggest key for Boston or anything that we do is for us to understand that there are two components of your practice, and I've got them all nicely laid out on my little flip chart here. So first is mechanics, second is mindset. And what we do in chiropractic is we spend the majority of our time in our seminars, in our coaching programs, in what we learn in school, in our textbooks, in our reading material, in the mechanics of a practice. So when we first started practice, we studied the mechanics of a practice. We wanted the right procedure. We wanted the right script. We wanted to know how to market. We wanted the right ad at the time. Yes, I'm old. Whatever it was, that's what we wanted. And we spent a lot of time doing that. There was nothing wrong with that. The problem was it was unsustainable. That a new idea would come and be like, let's try that, and let's try that, and let's try that. And we'd do it for a while, and then we would go back to entropy, where we would be doing the same things we always did. Took us some period of time in practice, like 10 years, to realize that the mindset component of practice is really where the magic lies. And in my opinion, the mindset of your practice is actually 80% of the work that we do, and 20% lay in the mechanics. So it's almost the exact opposite of probably what most of us have learned. So in particular, there's two components to mindset that I think are the most important. First is intention, second is philosophy. Lots and lots of work in chiropractic done on philosophy. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about philosophy, although in later videos we'll talk about your personal health philosophy, not chiropractic philosophy per se, but your personal philosophy about health, your personal philosophy about success. Intention is really the one today we're going to spend some time talking about. But these two things in your practice, your intention and your philosophy, make up your state. And if you watch my Facebook Live videos or you read my posts, you know that the state that you are in your practice is actually your reality. That is where your reality is founded. And that reality actually, here's the thing, that is actually what creates your mechanics. So all of this is actually what will create your procedures, your strategy, which then develop into the practice that you call your practice. It doesn't work the other way around. You can't set 80% of your mechanics and hope that your mindset changes through the mechanics, because that's a behavioral approach, that's not a belief system approach. And just like our practice members, you can do something for a while and it will be okay, but in order for it to really sit in your core and your soul, for you to live it, it's got to live here in your intention, it's got to live here in your mindset. And there's some real specific work that we can do around mindset. So today I really want to talk a little bit about that, because when you get the fact that your mindset is mostly what you do and your mechanics, mostly what you think and your mechanics are what you do, when these two work beautifully together, you have flow. And I know if you follow me, you know that flow is my word for 2017, that we really sit in this congruent flow in our practices where all things line up here. They line up to what we believe. They line up to what our philosophy is. They line up to what we say we can do. And that congruency that happens is where the magic happens in chiropractic. And the reason that incongruency, or the gap, happens so much for us in chiropractic is because we're desperately trying to find mechanics that don't match this. So let's get clear on our mindset and our attention, and then find the mechanics to match. So how do we do that? Let me go to my second little page on my flip chart here. You have got to understand your intention is your ceiling in your practice. So in Boston, we're going to talk about this because I really want you to understand what your intention is. Because here's the thing, as far as your intention is, it's as far as people can go in practice. It's as far as they will go with care planning. It's as far as they will go with healing. That's set by you. That's set by your mindset as the chiropractor. And there are three big intentions in chiropractic. And none of them are wrong. That's the thing. It doesn't matter where you are. It just matters that you know where you are. And to know that actually if you're not happy, you can actually change your intention through a series of steps and processes that we're going to work through at the seminar. So the first thing I want to talk about is the first intention in chiropractic is pain. Is the relief treatment or getting rid of pain. There's nothing wrong with that. The outcome, down here is my outcome, right here. The outcome of that is pain relief. That's great. People who feel better, obviously, they function better, they move better, they are better, happier at home. This happens relatively quickly in chiropractic. We'll get into why that's really not ideal for many people in the seminar, but there's nothing wrong with doing that. We sat in this model for a long time. And you know what? People were happy, but people were still sick. The second intention is conditions, including subluxation. So this one we're going to spend quite a bit of time on because this is where the majority of us sit, I believe, that follow me. We look at subluxation as a condition, and we like subluxation slay it. Our job is to kill the subluxation, get rid of it, and by doing so, people's conditions go away. And that's not technically the way that it works, and it's not technically the way that healing works, but we see people as being conditions. Here we see people as being in pain. Here we see people, one further step, as being conditioned. So we see people as migraine headaches, as sciatica, as digestive problems, as ear infections, as autistic, whatever. That's our view and that's our intention. So again, there's nothing wrong with that. It is what it is. But many of us that lived in this model for a long time knew we could be doing something more, and we, for us, didn't understand why this was our ceiling. Why sometimes people got better, sometimes they didn't get better. Did that mean chiropractic worked all the time? Did it mean it didn't work? How did we show people that it actually worked? Then we have our life model. Here's our life model. Our life model is where we are today in our practice. Our life model really says that we know that people come into us distorted because of subluxation, because of an inadaptability to their environment, their brain firing what we call the sympathetics most of the time, and therefore it's altering their perceptions both internally and externally. Those altered perceptions change who that person is. It changes how they view the world. And our job as a chiropractor is to facilitate the efficiency of the life processing system called the nervous system. Therefore, that brain starts to interpret things at a more optimal level and does what it was supposed to do physiologically, but also the person steps into their life at a higher level. That level of intention means, here's the thing, we see everybody. That's the thing. If you sit here, again, there's no judgment, it's very difficult for you to see people in this model. If you sit here, you get this model of intention, this model of intention, and you see these folks, but you never see these folks. When you sit in the life model, it encompasses everybody. We're able to see where everybody's at because our intention always is going to be about life. And so the vitality shift is really about shifting us to an intention that is life focused, but then using some really simple objective findings to show people how they're not showing up as a vital being. Because most people don't even know what that means. And it doesn't mean that we don't see people in pain, and it doesn't mean that we don't see people with conditions and chronic disease. It means all of that. It just means because our intention is life, the way that we can communicate changes. So in my next video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about our state and how we can create some ideas around moving to a different intention. Because here's the thing, people want to know, well, what are the findings you do? And what does this do? And what happens when somebody improves here? And those are all really important questions, but let's remember, back to my other picture here, those are the mechanics of practice. And if you just implement the mechanics of practice and don't understand your intention, that's when it becomes gimmicky. So in order for it to be sustainable and for you to move along a process where your intention starts to increase and widen, we have to make sure that it fits for where you're at, that you're not just adding in a bunch of neural tests for the sake of doing it because it seems like a good idea to show somebody how sick they are. That's not the intention behind the vitality shift. And in order for you to get there, we've got to make sure that we're moving your intention along the spectrum, just like we're asking people to move their belief systems along a health spectrum. So, the early bird is on now. Here's my website with my amazing writing. It looks better online, www.trueconceptsseminars.com. Boston, March 11th. It's a very small space. It's an immersion style workshop. I truly believe this is going to sell out. The further we go away from connecting with people and go online in the world of learning, the further we go away from connecting and learning and immersing in really what we need to do to be sustainable in our practice. So this is going to be a conscious immersion experience. Register early. We'll see you in Boston.